Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30, so I will be calling the meeting to order. Members of the public have been invited to participate in the meeting of council by attending in person at the council chamber at the municipal office located at 10227 Ilderton Road in Coldstream, or by contacting the municipal clerk to receive a registration link to join the meeting electronically. Members of the public may also access the meeting live stream on our Middlesex Centre YouTube channel. The municipality of Middlesex Centre recognizes that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Lenape peoples. We acknowledge the enduring presence of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people on this land and are committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect. Our neighboring First Nations communities, which continue to live as sovereign nations, include the Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and Munsee Delaware Nation. So I understand there are no additions to the agenda tonight, so I will look to the members of council. Does anyone wish to declare a pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we can move to delegations and presentations. This evening, we have one delegation from residents from 14 Mile Road regarding road conditions. I'm going to remind everyone that delegations can be up to 5 minutes, not including any time of members of council may wish to ask or take questions. So this item has to do with 14 Mile Road improvements, and Mr. John Cortell is here to speak to that topic. Okay, so there's a microphone in front of you, and if you push the button that has the mouth and the little lines, it'll turn green. Yeah. It's red now, and now I can, there we go. And when you're ready, you can start and I'll watch the clock. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Dickinson. I'd like to thank you all for meeting with us. We have a delegation of homeowners from 14 Mile Road between Highbury Ave and Prospect Hill Road. We are here to voice our concern with the terrible condition of our road. There are 15 houses, 2 businesses, and a large hog farm in this block. So over my 90 years living here, I've seen some bad roads, but not like we've seen in the last several years. The road condition is an embarrassment and a liability risk regarding vehicle damage or accidents. Prior to amalgamation of the 3 townships, the London Township would upgrade a concession road to tar and chip every several years. I'm thinking of 13 Mile Road, 9 Mile Road, part of 8 Mile Road, part of 15 Mile Road, and others. However, since amalgamation, no tar and chip upgrades to concession roads. I'm proud of council for tax dollars going to several big ticket projects like Kamoka, Ilderton, Coldstream, the Township Garage, and others. However, the township concession roads have, in my opinion, been left to deteriorate. On our road, we take great pride in our property. Most of us clean and cut the roadside like a lawn. However, with the condition of the road, many of our friends that live on good roads will not put their cars over these potholes to visit us. That should not be. We all know that agriculture is the largest industry in the township. And I would ask that you take that into consideration when you consider our request for tar and chip for the 14 Mile Road between Highbury Ave and Prospect Hill Road. Thank you. I'll turn it over to John.
Yep. Thanks, John. Yeah, thanks for your time. So the things that I've outlined here is, Jim's examples are good. It's hard on the vehicles and lawnmowers too when you're trying to maintain the grass along the road. So we're just looking for a plan to fix the roads and to keep them maintained like that. We just feel that's not unreasonable to have a well-maintained road. There's lots of gravel on the road from over the years. I've been there 40 years, and it seems the joke is the road is like a foot higher than it used to be when I moved in. So we want the ongoing maintenance plan for the road, and once the repairs are complete, because it still needs work right now. Traffic is increasing. We've got the Amazon, DoorDash, Uber, milk truck going down the road, and like Jim was mentioning, the farm equipment. It's modern stuff is quite big. So we would like to see the tar and chip program in the near future in a plan. I handed in a petition. The petition was more on road improvement and kind of geared towards the tar and chip, although we had one person didn't want to sign. And there are a few people that are not in favor of the tar and chip, just to be transparent, but majority of people do want that done. And that plan, tar and chip, could that include like speed limit signs, community signs as well, just for concerns that other people have. So one of the options that Jim was given is we could pay to have part of that done too. And I guess your argument would be like a hard no on that. If you kind of consider the taxes that we paid over the years that we've been there, I've been there 40 years and probably pushing over $100,000. So I've contributed, everybody else has contributed, and the people that were there before us as well. So yeah, we understand that contribution has to go to the whole township in general. Like Jim was mentioning, the progress that you guys have made, which is good. Because we have, I guess, Mayor, you mentioned before, we're in the top 100 of municipalities living in Ontario, of like 454. So, we come up with ideas. I guess you don't want to be an armchair road engineer, but there's new technologies. You can see the stuff you have here, but there's also new road technologies as well. There's base technologies that's out there. There's a company called Biodiffusion Technology. And I think Andrew is aware of that. I sent him an email on that. So I don't know if they've entertained any presentations from them, but it's apparently a cost saving measure and a road improvement thing. So the other questions I'm kind of wondering about is when you look at our gas taxes, we used to call that like a road tax. So is that money coming back towards, do we have access to that? Provincial government.
If you could wrap up. I'm sorry, the time is out.
Okay, I got 30 seconds.
Yep.
So the provincial government has $30 billion in dollars in their last budget for over 10 years in road improvements. And I can get that. So here it is. The Ontario government is making significant long-term investments, nearly $30 billion over the next years, 2025 to 2035, to expand, repair roads, bridges, and municipal roads. And then there's a website, goodroads.ca, and there they broke that down further, saying there's a program in their municipal pothole prevention program, a program aimed at supporting pothole prevention and repair will be developed to enhance road safety. Funding details have not yet been provided. So there's programs available. Can we tap into that as a municipality?
Okay, thank you for your presentation. So council, this is a delegation tonight. We have a recommendation, or I would be open to hearing if there's anybody who'd wish to make a direction that would be different than what we have in front of us. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Andrew. Could you just, talk about programs, but more how many gravel roads we have in the township and the cost of redoing a road like that?
Through the chair to Deputy Mayor Brennan. Yeah, so just under 50% of the municipality's roads are gravel roads. So we have 603 roads in total. So about 300 or so lane kilometers or center line kilometers of those roads are gravel roads. So a significant portion of the municipality's road network. Quickly looking at converting a block of gravel roads, so an east-west block, so 2.4 kilometers in length, would cost about $280,000. So it's not, as part of that conversion, it's not just a straight application of tar and chip over the existing road. It does require some widening of the road to ensure we have proper widths, proper shoulders, and then usually entails also replacing culverts and ditching as well. So it's a little bit more robust than just putting down tar and chip over the existing surface.
Thank you through you, Madam Mayor, to Andrew. So they said that the joke on the street is about the road is so much higher from all the gravel that's been put on there. So obviously there is some attention being paid to the road. Is it a matter of more frequent grading of the road to help with that if the gravel is there? Or, is there some reason why it's getting worse potholes than maybe somewhere else, the milk truck or something? Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Cates. When it comes to gravel road maintenance, weather and vehicles are the biggest components of what impact the road. So potholes and washboarding generally occur when you have poor weather conditions. So if you have a lot of rain, a lot of snow, a lot of wet conditions, the road generally performs poorly. And especially when that's coupled with heavy loads, that's when you start to see that deterioration. So outside of our annual gravel maintenance program. So we are on a 3-year cycle. So about every 3 years, all the gravel roads would have had an application of gravel, so some fresh gravel. It is grading as weather conditions permit to help prepare the road for winters, but also to eliminate potholes and washboarding as they occur. But again, it's very much a weather dependent activity.
So can I have a question or not? Is it possible? Oh, I'm done. Okay.
Yeah, so you and I chatted, Andrew, about this. This is not in the foreseeable future to tar and chip it. We do a roads needs analysis. We base our budgets on that. This road does not appear as a priority in that, correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Burrs, that is correct. It is not identified in the current roads needs study for conversion from gravel to tar and chip. And I would just add that we are starting again this year, the new roads needs study. So all of the gravel roads will be reviewed again with updated traffic counts and using the council approved policy for gravel road conversion. So you can expect to see later this year an updated report with priorities on gravel road conversions. In saying that, I don't suspect that this road will still meet the criteria, though.
All right, so I didn't get a chance to go out and look at the road, but how does it relate to the other gravel roads is that unfair to ask you that question? Like, obviously the delegation says it's terrible, but what's your opinion compared to other gravel roads?
Through the chair to Councillor Burrs, I would say this spring in particular, coming out of winter, it's been challenging for gravel roads across the municipality. That's not unique to 14 Mile. I would say that's generally all the roads that we have gravel surfaces. It has been challenging to try to get the graders over everything with the weather and the moisture that we've had. So I don't think it's performing any worse than any of our other gravel roads.
Okay, I do have a follow-up for the chair. You alluded to the fact, Mayor, that is there a recommendation associated with this that I missed, or is it just I don't see it. I just see.
Okay, I'll read the recommendation just in case everyone looking for it, that the delegation from John Cortell with respect to 14 Mile Road improvements be received for information.
Okay.
Or another motion that if council wishes to make a suggestion or comment or,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay, oh, yours is green. Go ahead, councillor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you through you to Andrew. And I want to say thank you first to John and Jim for your presentation today. Thank you very much. Andrew, I wanted just to ask about any short-term, I have 2 questions for you. So just any short-term relief for these gravel roads, what's planned in the short term as far as grading? And when do you believe that'll happen? I know that it is contingent on weather. But it looks like we're getting some good weather in the next few days or next week. So that would be good. And then my follow-up to that is about our long term. If you could talk about a bit more about the road needs analysis and where this road lies. Thank you.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Coles. Yes, so grading activities have been ongoing as weather permits. I can't give an exact time on when we plan on being on this road. As you mentioned, it is very much weather contingent, but as weather conditions permit, and you are right, the forecast does look very favorable. We will have the graders out there actively grading roads. We've been making use of our our winter shift. So we have been extending grading into the evenings as well as daylight permits. So we are actively looking to get over everything as fast as we can. As it relates to timing for improvements longer term, as mentioned through the upcoming roads needs study, all the gravel roads will be reviewed and taking into account new traffic counts. So you could expect to see something later this year as it relates to overall priority. But as I mentioned, I don't suspect that 14-mile will rank particularly high on that listing.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks, John and Jim, for their presentation. I'm an advocate of tar and chipping. I'll tell you right now, I've got calls several times a year on 8 Mile between Clark and Prospect. Rob and Andrew are well aware of that. And I believe we should be doing something here. Like I said, as John said, it's 40 years he's there and nothing is changed really. I can't think of the municipality. Somebody up north said all their roads now have been tar and chipped. Now it's North Huron, here's where it is, but completely redone. And I wonder if it's time council shouldn't be putting money away in a budget to start doing, whether it's a road a year or a concession a year, start tar and chip on these roads. I'm willing to make that as a motion, actually. That's, anybody's got any more comments on that?
Did you want to speak to that? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Andrew. I just, as a follow-up to when the Jim, I think, or what, I forget which one, said that we no longer tar and chip roads. That's not accurate. We still tar and chip some roads every year. Is that not correct?
That is partly correct. We do convert some gravel roads to tar and chip, but it's based off of the recommendations of the roads need study. So last year's example, Bodkin Road was completed from Jones all the way down to Southdale Road. But we don't have a consistent conversion, say 1 a year or something like that.
So, yeah, I'm just responding to Councillor Shipley's comment. Maybe something like I'm okay with looking at it and maybe establishing something. We have to establish some sort of goal and objective on this. We've always kind of talked about this, but never done anything about it. So I'm thinking we have to rate, is the roads needs study happening this year, right now, this summer? So it will be ready for us to look at in the next budget cycle. So the only motion that I think I would entertain is to give it a serious look as to what are we going to try to establish a reserve? Are we going to try to establish some form of goals? But we have to base it on the information of the roads needs analysis. That's all, because there are many other competing roads too that would want their roads converted too. That's it. Hopefully I was clear enough.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just the problem I have with the roads need study, I understand it's, it's reliable to a point. But people on concession roads don't get a lot of road traffic. And that's what they're looking at is traffic. It's the people who live there are the majority of the traffic. So I've never, since I've been on council, seen a road needs study saying a gravel road needs to be tar and chipped. Because basically the maximum number of people that use that road are the people who live on the road. So it's fine for a highway and situations like that, but I don't think the roads need study really works for gravel roads that well.
Through the chair to Councillor Shipley. So as part of the roads needs study, the gravel roads would be reviewed using the council approved gravel road conversion policy, which takes into account not just the number of vehicles, but driveways, heavy traffic, and that kind of stuff as well. So it does come up with a priority based off a number of factors, and that's what would be used to review and prioritize the gravel roads for conversion. So it's a little bit more broader than just traffic.
Okay. One more. Go ahead.
Andrew, if council decided they wanted a road done, then outside of the road study, I realize that would be very unusual to happen. But it would be something that if council felt the targeted road, they could do that, could they?
Sorry, Deputy Mayor, do you mind repeating sort of that last bit? I missed it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if council decided they wanted something like this done. And they said, can we get this done in the next year or two? I know it would set a precedent outside the road need study, but it is a possibility that council could do that, is it not?
Through the chair to Deputy Mayor Brennan, yes, should council direct staff to convert a block of gravel roads? Yeah, we would absolutely do so at your direction.
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, cute. Go ahead.
There we go.
You're good.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Andrew, the roads that you do convert from gravel to tar and chip, how do you determine if the base is good enough? Like, do you go by experience of the road? Do you got something to test the density, or do you got to dig? Because there's no point in tar and chipping a road if the base is junk, is it?
Through the chair to Councillor Arts, yes, typically we dig some test pits and observe the amount of gravel that's in place. That's generally sufficient. If we had concerns, we would bring in a geotechnical engineer and provide us some analysis that way. But generally, that's been pretty good and effective for us.
Some of the roads, they're over time, they got that type of loam underneath it. It just oozes in the spring, right? But I guess you would, yeah, you could have 2 feet of gravel, but it still oozes, right? Okay.
Thank you through you, Madam Mayor. And just to add to what Councillor Arts was saying, maybe that's the problem with their road is their bases. Maybe what I was actually going to say was maybe it's the road needs study that or the policy. Maybe the policy needs to be looked at to see if it's maybe they're not the only road that has problems and doesn't make it, or versus Councillor Shipley's motion should we be thinking about the policy? That was just my comment. Thank you.
I don't see any more lights. So just the other thing that I don't think you mentioned was we had how many feet of frost in the ground this year? Yeah, because I know my road's still bubbling. Yeah, especially through the bush part, that it's just, yeah, brutal right now. So yeah, this year was not a good year. Okay, I think everyone's raised all kinds of good points. I'm going to look to council then. I'm sensing that we need an other council direction. Does somebody jotted notes and want to make that, or have you come up with something? That, well, yeah. Do you want to go ahead?
It again. No, there you go. Don't touch it. No, at this portion, I'd still stick with my motion that we need to start putting money away to start looking at gravel roads, start tar and chipping gravel roads. That's my motion, I guess, at this point.
We have a motion before us. I'll look for a seconder or an amender. Go ahead, Councillor Coles. Yeah. All right. We have a mover seconder. I'll call the vote. All in favor of Councillor Shipley's motion? Yeah. All right. So we're putting more work on you. We'll look forward to getting a result and then we can take steps from there. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, everyone, tonight and coming in person to make your case. All right. Item 6.1 is the adoption of the minutes of the 11th of March meeting. The recommendation is that the minutes of March 11, 2026 meeting of council be adopted as printed. Do we have a mover, please, and a seconder? Councillor Shipley and Councillor Cates, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. The next section is public meetings. The motion before us is that council move into public meetings at 5:54 p.m. pursuant to the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended to consider the applications listed on the March 25th, 2026 council agenda. It is moved by Councillor Cates, thank you, and seconded Councillor Burrs, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried as well. Just before we get out, I'm going to walk through the procedure here. Members of the public that wish to receive further notification on any of the applications that are being considered this evening, I ask that you please send an email to planning@middlesexcentre.ca requesting further notification. Please be advised that comments are expressed and written material presented are a matter of the public record. If you have any questions on the applications that are being heard this evening, we ask that you direct those to the appropriate planner on the file. Members of the public that have requests to speak will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address council and provide comments on the applications. In keeping with our procedural bylaw and our zone policy, I would remind all of our meeting participants to use respectful language and uphold our values of cooperation, trust, and openness. There is an order, and that is as follows. First of all, the chair, that is myself, I will ask the planner to explain the purpose of the application and to present the staff report. Then the applicant or their agent has the opportunity to speak to their application. Next, those who have registered in advance and are attending in person will be asked for their comments. And then after that, those who have registered in advance and are attending virtually will have an opportunity to express their comments. Then the remaining members of the public who are present and wish to delegate will be called on for additional comments. Council may ask questions then of the applicant, delegates, and/or staff. And then I will ask that council consider motions regarding the applications at the conclusion of those activities. So the first item up this evening is 96 Harris Road. And Dan Fitzgerald, the planner, is in attendance to provide an overview of the planning report. When you're ready, Dan.
Through the chair. Thanks, Madam Mayor and members of council tonight. So application 7.1 on the agenda is a combined consent and zoning bylaw amendment. So it's consent B16 2025 and zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 5 2026, and that's 96 Harris Road. The purpose and effect of this consent application would be to sever a parcel of land for residential use. The severed parcel would have a frontage of approximately 27.2 meters on Harris in an area of approximately 0.38 hectares. The retained frontage would be approximately 9.5 meters on Harris Road, and the area of the retained land would be approximately 3.22 acres. So as noted, we did receive a concurrent zoning bylaw amendment application where the purpose and effect is to rezone the severed land from existing use, or EU, to the community residential first density zone. The retained parcel is proposed to be rezoned from the existing use, or EU zone, to a site-specific EU-6 zone to recognize the reduced lot frontage and area, as well as a corner in the southwest as the community residential first density CR1 zone. So this subject property is located in or on the south side of Harris Road. It's east of the intersection of Harris and Victoria Street. It does maintain an existing single detached dwelling that fronts onto Harris Road, as well as a detached accessory structure, which is located behind the residence in the rear yard. The parcel is approximately 4.16 acres in total area, and it does maintain an entire frontage of 36.6 meters on Harris Road. So in order to provide a bit of clarity, I'm just going to ask, we've got the map up there now. It's fantastic. So as shown on the location map, the entirety of the parcel does encompass both the red, yellow, and orange areas as shown on the map. The applicant is seeking to remove the existing dwelling, and it is shown here as the red L-shaped lot in the top west corner, northwest corner. Specific to this lot, administration has added conditions that would require the owner to identify and confirm that existing servicing as well as contingencies areas are available for the septic system. Additionally, the applicant, through conditions, is required to modify the existing access to the site by removing portions of the driveway to ensure that it's at least 1 meter to the proposed property line. And the red area is proposed to be rezoned from the existing use zone to the community residential first density zone. And that is really to respect the existing residence that is there, and it is intended to remain on the property. So the yellow and the orange area do make up the entirety of the remnant lands. As a result of the removal of the existing dwelling, the remnant lot is proposed to retain the existing accessory structure on the site. I would note that only permissible activities to occur within the remnant parcel would be the existing accessory building as a residential use and not as commercial ventures. I would also note that while the orange area is identified as a separate lot, or what appears to be a separate lot, it would remain part of the larger yellow parcel. So it has been identified separately on the map, as the applicant does intend to rezone this particular portion to the community residential first density zone. And the purpose of this is to establish one new single detached dwelling on that remnant parcel. The yellow portion would be amended from the existing use zone, again, to a site-specific existing use zone. And that simply is to recognize the reduced frontage requirement and lot area that would result from the severance. No additional development would be permitted in this particular area. The remnant lands would also be subject to the requirement of a development agreement, which is intended to limit development to just one dwelling in the southwest corner, while also providing future development concept in consideration of road access for the future, if and when servicing is available for Delaware. So I'll just flip to the next one. So as part of the application, we did ask the applicant to provide us with a development concept sketch. By no means is this anything that we are considering tonight in terms of approval. It's just to show that by permitting the severance, we're not potentially precluding any future development on this land should servicing become available in Delaware. So this does give a rough idea of how development could occur on the lands. Again, if Delaware was to be serviced. As discussed with the applicant, they have included an urban residential lot fabric here, which would only be achievable again when full services are available. The proposed location of the road access does align with the conceptual road access for the neighboring parcel, which is located at 88 Harris Road. So it does maintain the intent of future municipal road access through the site and through the parcel and potentially onto future development lands east of this particular site. So when we looked at it, we really wanted to make sure that the former severance that we heard at 88 Harris Road would align well with any future road access on this particular case and any future home to be located on this land. And then further, that the road can extend further out into Delaware and still not sterilize any potential lands for residential development. So the application was reviewed against the provincial planning statement, the county's official plan, and Middlesex Center's official plan. Generally, development is directed to occur on full municipal services and all three policy documents. However, I would note there are provisions for limited development opportunities where private services can be accommodated. This is interpreted through Middlesex Center's official plan, special policy area number 3, which does note that limited development may occur where lots maintain frontage on an improved municipal road and future access to the lands is provided and is feasible for development. So in this particular instance, the development agreement and proposed road alignment provides clarity that road access is feasible between 88 Harris Road and 96 Harris, which would continue on into future development lands to the east. This is, again, subject to future full municipal servicing within the Delaware community. In all, staff is satisfied that the proposal would conform to the municipal official plan, subject to the limitations that one new residence, the execution of a development agreement securing future developability of the lands, as well as the completion of any items as listed in the conditions of the severance. I would note that we have received correspondence from neighbors within the area expressing concern with any future development within this parcel or adjacent parcels, as well as the existing use of this particular site. So in discussion with staff, council could consider imposing additional conditions that they see fit. Some of those conditions may include that the municipality conduct an inspection of the property to confirm that no commercial uses or storage is occurring on site, and that the existing accessory structure is suitable as a residential accessory use to the satisfaction of the municipality prior to the creation of a lot. They could also consider a condition that the owner be required to apply for a demolition permit and remove the existing accessory structure located on the remnant land, to the satisfaction of the municipality prior to the creation of the lot. So all comments provided by internal and external stakeholders have been incorporated as conditions of consent. Some of those comments, as provided by the building department as well as the public works department, were concerned primarily with access and the development agreement. So we just note that access is required to be established as part of the condition of consent. In this particular case, the access is located, if you still do have the location map, oh, there it is located between the yellow dashed line and the red line fronting onto Harris Road. So the northernmost portion of the land, that would be large enough to provide access, separate laneway access all the way to the back where they're proposing the location for the house. So given the analysis provided in the planner's report, I am satisfied that the proposed consent as well as zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the PPS, and it does conform to the County of Middlesex official plan and Middlesex Center's official plan. As such, I am recommending approval, subject to the conditions as listed in the planner's report. Thank you.
And thank you for that report, Dan. Next, we look to the agent or an applicant wishing to provide comments. And if you could identify yourself for the record, that would be a great place to start. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. My name is Michelle Dornbush. I'm with Landrise. I'm the owner of this property and the applicant for the application before you this evening. We've had discussions with staff regarding the consent and zoning bylaw amendment applications before you. I've had a chance to review the staff report. I don't have any concerns with the information that's been provided and the recommended consent conditions. I will say that we would have a concern with the recommendation for the removal of the existing garage. It is functioning as a personal garage. I do use it for my own, I don't live on this property, but I do live down the street. I do feel like it would be a disservice to remove an existing structure just for the sake of some concerns. There were previous discussions with the building department about the use of the property, and I know you can see it in the air photo. All of that storage has since been removed. That was, I think, a year or two ago. But this is a personal garage, and we would like to see it remain on the property to be used in conjunction with the new dwelling at the rear of the lands you can see on the air photo that was presented. So we would ask that council recommend approval of the applications. And if there's any questions or concerns raised by the public or by council, I'd be happy to address them. And just a note for kind of procedure purposes, I'm hopeful that council and staff will speak to the public. And with regards to, I've never had this come up before with an application, but make sure that the public is aware that a public notice in relation to an application for municipal applications like this one does not grant neighbors permission to trespass on the property or cause issues with any people on the property with regards to this specific application or any applications in the municipality as a whole. So that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, next we will call on members of the public who have registered to provide comments in person. Okay, there were none that were registered. Is there anyone who was virtual? No one is virtual. And finally, is there anyone here in attendance who wishes to speak to this application? If you want to come forward and then have a seat, and I'll push the button and make it green when you've had a chance to activate the button yourself. If you would state your name for the record.
There we go. Tony Scott. We moved to Harris Street 3 weeks ago. And had no idea this was happening. We moved there because it's a quiet neighborhood and we live right on the corner of Harris and Victoria. Our concern is more the future image that we saw there of potential subdivision into multiple lots, potentially 12 to 13 dwellings, I believe. and the road access being Harris. I don't know if any of you have ever driven down Harris Road, but it ain't huge. It is a small suburb street, no sidewalks, lots of kids roller skating, biking. There is nowhere to walk safely. The road is very small. We have to give way to vehicles coming on. And my concern would be the additional traffic coming down Harris Road being the main point of access and it no longer being a quiet, safe suburban neighborhood. That, and I guess while we're talking about road conditions, there's going to be a lot of truck traffic if you're building 13 dwellings. It's not a big road. I don't know what the weight limit is on that road, but if you're starting to put big trucks down there and what have you, we're going to have potential issues with our road, and maybe we'll be talking about having our road resurfaced. So those are my concerns anyway.
All righty, thank you. Is there anyone else? Come on. You'll have to push the button. There we go, green.
Okay, thank you. My name is Andrea Ferrara. I live next door to this lot in question. I've had a chance to speak with all of the neighbors, and we were very much unaware of what exactly was going to be happening. The paperwork that was sent out to us is nothing like what I received today. Thank you very much, Dan. We're all very upset. None of us would like to see this happen. We have wildlife. We just moved there less than a year ago. This was my retirement home. I bought it because there was no front neighbors, there was no back neighbors. This is just, it's incredibly upsetting to all of the homes that are there right now. Everyone is talking about having to put their houses up now for sale. Everyone wants to move because of this. Again, what the other gentleman said about the road, it is an extremely narrow road. We all have to go over onto the side just to pass. We've had to put up with transport trucks getting stuck and blocking traffic because of the business next door. Just very, very upsetting. I have pictures of the front, the notification. The neighborhood had no idea how involved this was. And again, we're just incredibly upset. Not a lot of people could make the meeting tonight, so I'm kind of going on what everyone has told me. We're worried about the wildlife. Like I said, we all bought houses here because there wasn't going to be anything in behind us. There's a school, it's a field and a school. I don't know. It would just, I don't know what else to say. It's just incredibly upsetting. We've been there for less than a year and we can't sell, we can't move, and now we're stuck with a subdivision going in behind us.
What's your address, ma'am? What's
98, sorry.
98?
Okay, I'll turn to council then. If you're finished, yeah. Okay, I'll look to council. I don't know who was first. They're both green.
Here,
I've been
who
pushing.
goes first?
Okay, through you, Madam Mayor. I have a few questions, maybe for Dan, so that I can understand this better as I was reading everything. So let me fire away my questions to you. First of all, when you look at either one, the map with the dotted lines on it, and we've got future lot, and then we've got the big orange lot. I'm just wondering why it's in orange versus the other one. And then you talk about reading the report, I think on page 11, they're only going to build one house now. So assuming it's going to have a septic and they got to run the municipal services, which lot was it going to be on? Because now I've heard reference to at the back. So I was curious which lot it was going to go on. And so would they then be making this as a laneway versus a road? And they'll bring in the water service for one lot or for the whole future? And the other Harris Road development, I don't know why in my mind it was across the road. So these are both behind. So this isn't the only one that's happening. There's the other one, and they're gonna one day connect. Is that the gist of the plan? Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, through the chair to the councillor. I think I got them all. I took notes as you were kind of talking, so bear with me if I don't hit one, just let me know. So if you look at the future development plan, I believe that you have up there, that is going to show, or even the location map that's up now, the large lot in the bottom, I call it the southwest corner, or the orange area, is the area that they're seeking to construct a dwelling on the remnant parcel. So that would all stay as one parcel holistically. It's just that area would be rezoned to permit one dwelling.
The orange.
Yeah. So just the orange would be rezoned to the community residential first density zone, which would permit that one dwelling to be constructed. So I hope that helps maybe clarify a little bit. So yeah, it would just be one house. So the existing dwelling would get severed off, and that would be one new dwelling. As part of that, they would be required to construct a laneway access off of Harris Road, so that's where that 9.5 meter frontage would remain on Harris Road. They would be required to construct a laneway access all the way back to that dwelling, which would provide sufficient access for the house, and if the accessory structure was to remain, for that as well. In terms of servicing, yeah, they would have to bring in a water line to service the dwelling as part of the municipal policy. And the size of the lot that is proposed is reflective of needing a septic system to service that particular area. So we wanted to make sure it was sized to be able to accommodate the septic system within the zoned area, and then not have that potentially impact a future consideration of development should services be extended to Delaware. So that's kind of the whole thought process behind it. And in terms of the future road allowance, we worked with the applicant as well as the former plan that we have surveyed as part of the reference plan and the development agreement on the neighboring parcel to ensure that those road accesses align. So the two lot fabrics basically on that southwest corner are matching between the two parcels, or very similar to matching, and the road network would align to be able to drive through the site. So a municipal road access effectively gets provided through 88 Harris Road, as it is a 20-meter right-of-way potentially, and then it would come through this particular section. So that's what I mean by future development access potential is there through the development agreement to tie the two parcels together.
So to clarify, through you, Madam Mayor, just to clarify, this will be future only when servicing gets there. So this is future.
Yes, that's correct. So in terms of the special policy area, they can only develop one because of the access to the special policy area that's required through the servicing. So anything beyond that, because they don't have the access there, would require municipal servicing for any additional development. So any future development beyond the one house would require municipal servicing in Delaware, full municipal servicing.
Thank you.
Councillor Burris?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's a number of concerns. I've already talked to you, Dan. So just to reiterate some of this, 96 would be severed out. The red would be severed out immediately. is the orange, you're asking us to sever that, but no, it's just a future concept. It says here, lands to be rezoned. Okay, just rezoning, it's a concept then, correct? Yeah, but
So
that's
the
what I'm saying.
orange, yeah, the orange area again is not to be, is not severed. It's just that is the boundary of the zone line that is being requested so that they could establish one single detached dwelling. So that orange area will still remain as part of the larger remnant parcel, which is that entirety of the yellow lined area.
Okay, so no construction there then. The one thing I will, well, when we talk about 88, down 88, there was a scenario of 4 lots. I think about 4 lots, and there's a laneway that goes out to Harris on those 4 lots. Now you want to connect this development with that, correct? So that would be a public right of way then on 88 to get out?
Yeah, so the intent of the concept plans is just to protect for that for the future. So we're limiting that zone line so that the road allowance can connect through that. And that's really what our concern is, that we're protecting the development potential within the area as identified in the official plan.
Okay, that's asking an awful lot when you figure this is all gonna be built out sometime in the future, and who knows when services are gonna come to go down that little laneway. The other thing I'm gonna tell you about the property is, and the applicant is here, I live there, I see it all the time. There've been a number of big trucks go into this barn to offload construction material. I've seen it, yes, I've seen it firsthand. Big semis coming in there, blocking the road for 10 minutes at a time. We couldn't move either way, and this happened at least twice. I don't know what you've done since, but my point of view is this has been used for construction material storage. I've seen it firsthand driving by there. Go ahead, respond.
No.
No, you can't respond. Sorry, I can continue. Sorry, I
Yeah.
made a mistake there. My apologies. My opinion on this, if you're going to do it, I would want a condition that the barn comes out. It shouldn't stay there. There have been incidents of this being used for construction storage. I've seen sheets, panels. There's a lift truck still there, which is used for offloading, must be. That's my opinion on there, and neighbors have complained about it. So this is kind of crammed in. This is today's world. Okay, but my opinion is, as a condition of this, the barn's gonna have to go. That's what I'm hoping council will offer. I'm also saying that who knows when full services will come, but you're jamming a number of lots in here with one access out 88. And when the 88 parcel was conceived with 4 additional houses back there, eventually, that was only going to be a sort of laneway for those 4 houses. Now you're going to expand it to all these other new houses in the future. I think that's kind of taxing that area. But my point is that on the barn, I'd like to see the barn out as a condition of this.
Okay, other council comments? Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Shipley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just trying to figure out here, where is the water coming from if it's not serviced?
Sorry, so the 96 Harris is currently serviced. What will be the new lot will be serviced with a water service from Harris. So there's no sanitary there, but there's water, municipal water.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other council members? Okay, and I have a staff comment. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. Through the mayor to the rest of council, and just to address some of those other comments, I just want to flag, I know, again, there's some concern with, accessing of all these properties. That concept that was provided really purely is to just show that we're not precluding, things from happening in the future and access. I will note that, well before the discussion about bringing services in, there will be some larger planning that will be required, a secondary plan, things like that, to look at what the future could look like. So I just want to kind of alleviate some of those concerns. This is purely as a planner. We just need to ensure Again, and based on the policies that are in the official plan, we're again not precluding the efficient development of the lands in the future by allowing these consents. So that's really what that is to show. But at this time, the only thing that's being considered is, again, the rezoning of that area to permit the one house and the severance of the existing house. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and I remember when we were dealing with the plans here, I don't know whether it was the official plan or it was an application for something, but this whole sort of core area, how are we going to get that done? So this diagram that you provide, I think gives us an idea of how it could be done, even though it's no guarantee that that is exactly what it would look like. So, okay, any final questions? Last call? Oh, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Just when the final questions asked, are we going to include the extra conditions that Dan mentioned? Are we going to put those in the recommendation or not?
Let me ask a question then. Is the recommendation not inclusive of the comments that staff requested? Or does it need rewording for something specific?
Yeah, so through the chair, staff provided two additional conditions today for council consideration based on commentary that we were hearing from the public.
Okay.
So there are two additional conditions that the clerk has for you to consider. I would just note that you likely wouldn't require the first condition if you are going to suggest the building be removed entirely. So it's likely probably a one or the other or none.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you through you, Madam Mayor. So if it's one or the other and we have no commercial use or remove the structure, and the applicant has said that they use it as a garage, so maybe the no commercial use fulfills both things. The no construction material still allows her to use it, but appeases the issue of if there was commercial use going on. It's my comment.
No. Okay.
And go ahead, Councillor.
Okay, so I stand by what I said. Our bylaw enforcement officer went out there and said he was convinced no manufacturing was going on. But storage is still not allowed there. Construction storage is not allowed there. And I'm going to tell you, I saw it firsthand. I saw trucks. You're not allowed to talk right now. Sorry, you can ask the mayor, but I saw the trucks firsthand. I'm stopped waiting for this big semi to unload construction material. And there's a lift truck lifting it off because I'm coming back and seeing the same thing. The neighbors have complained. You're saying no. I'm saying that's what's happened. And to do bylaw enforcement, it's a nightmare. That's a problem. So you're getting this construction material activity. So I don't know how you can guarantee that you're not doing it anymore because it was going on. Yeah, okay. But that's what I want. I want a condition. I don't know how it happens that it's out. The barn comes down.
Okay, is everyone? No, okay, we've got a reworded statement coming, a reworded option. You want to read it?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Just for clarity, that planning staff did provide us with the additional wording if it were council's wish to proceed in this way, and that being that the owner be required to apply for a demolition permit and fully remove the existing accessory structure located on the remnant land to the satisfaction of the municipality prior to the creation of the new lot.
Okay.
So what we would do is that if that is the way that council wishes to proceed, is that would be a third recommendation. The first to approve the consent, subject to the conditions listed in the report. The second one to be approve the zoning bylaw amendment, and the third would be to further require the application for a demolition permit. Does that sound correct?
We don't read it again.
I can certainly read out the recommendations. So the first one would be that the report, PLA 11/2026, 3 applications for consent, B16 2025, and zoning bylaw amendment, ZBA 5/2026 be received. And further, that consent application B16 2025 filed by Michelle Dornbush in order to sever a lot with a frontage of approximately 27.2 meters on Harris Road and an area of approximately 0.38 hectares, and the retained frontage of approximately 9.5 meters on Harris Road, and an area of approximately 1.3 hectares for a property legally described as Plan 305 Lot 3, Part Lot 2, South Harris Road, Parts 1 and 3 on Reference Plan 33R13216, and Part 4 on Reference Plan 33R17011 in the municipality of Middlesex Center, County of Middlesex, municipally known as 96 Harris Road, be subject to conditions, that being the 16 conditions as noted in report PLA 11/2026. And then is this where we would add the next one? And with the additional condition that the owner be required to apply for a demolition permit and fully remove the existing accessory structure located on the remnant land to the satisfaction of the municipality prior to the creation of the new lot. So that would be the one portion, and then I'll proceed with the zoning bylaw amendment in the second motion.
Okay, so is this not clear?
It's clear. She had a question. Sorry, I didn't turn it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Got it now.
Sorry, through you, Madam Mayor, just to, I don't know, maybe say the same thing again. First of all, the motion doesn't, there isn't a second option for a motion with no commercial use if the building stays. Second of all, I just need to say it out loud, like we already said that bylaw went out there and said that there was no commercial use going on, no building materials.
No, it said
Frank? Thank you. Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead, Councillor Cates.
So, you know, maybe they have a car collection and they store it there and we're gonna, you know what I mean? I just don't know that we have enough information to just say, go ahead and rip down your garage. A person could be getting a delivery for a big fence or to build a shed or something and block the road that way. So that's where I'm struggling with just adding rip down the shed. So I just want to have that say in there. To, you know, it's about the greater good, right? So wouldn't the commercial use, no commercial use fulfill the same need is my thoughts. Thank you.
I think the point was that it requires bylaw enforcement. We see businesses all over the municipality that are not in commercial areas. And even if it is a commercial area, then we have to make sure that those are the standards. So it's just it's a drain on assets. I think that was the only point there. Is anybody else wish to comment on that part? I can comment. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Chair. So I'm just trying to make sure this proceeds in a way that council is clear about what they're voting on. So we can certainly proceed with the original recommendation that consent B16 2025 be approved subject to the conditions listed in the report. What we can do is if Councillor Burrs is willing to put forward the motion to add the additional condition, council can then vote on that separately. And that way, that way there can be multiple votes on the issue.
Okay, so the first motion has to be the one to see if we want to amend the commercial piece. Right. We need to, we have to read that?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry again.
All right. And for clarity, because there are, and I'll look to planning staff as well. So there were the two proposed possible amendments, one just being simply to apply for the demolition permit to remove the structure. And the second being the inspection of the property confirm that no commercial uses or storage is occurring on the site.
So I believe those are two separate options. So I think counselor, somebody has to be prepared to put forward a motion, either one or the other.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Through your Madam Mayor to either Stephanie or Dan. When you see this orange lot, the shed touches it, does that matter? Like, it doesn't have to be so many, because it's all one parcel anyways, correct? So the relevance to those dash lines is irrelevant.
Fine.
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, that's correct. Because it's a zone boundary and not a physical lot, it would be fine to remain as an existing use.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So I'm thoroughly confused here. Frank's saying stuff is being unloaded there. It's construction material, is that correct? But bylaw went out there and said they didn't see any construction material, is that correct?
No, he said there was no manufacturing business going on there. There was no business being carried on it. Okay, but that's different from storing construction material. Got it?
Confusing, but
Yeah.
can you add to anything, Wayne, maybe add to this or no? No, okay, that's fine, thanks.
Is everyone clear what we're voting on right now?
So currently, we don't have a seconded or even a moved motion, so we can proceed with the original 16 and then entertain motions about any additional conditions to be added, whether that's the recommendation related to commercial uses or the recommendation related to the demolition permit. We'd be looking for one of those.
Okay. Is everyone clear on the clarification from the clerk?
So we're gonna vote 16 first.
So I would say that because we would have to approve the consent first before adding, no, okay. We would be looking at the conditions before, okay, thank you. So yes, we would be looking first, apologies for lack of clarity here. First, we would be looking for a motion regarding the shed or storage site, whichever way council prefers to move with that.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, through you, Madam Mayor. There can be no commercial activity, but what defines what you can store? Does that mean no commercial storage too? Or like I said, no commercial activity, if that covers everything, I'm good with it. But if that still slips under the radar, then I got some issues.
Yeah, so through the chair, based on the existing use zone, there's no zoning permissions for any type of storage activity to occur on the property. So the common situation that we see within the municipality is individuals saying that they have a home occupation and they're doing some type of storage or contractor's yard use or something like that nature. Middlesex Center's bylaw strictly prohibits that type of activity as a home occupation. So we generally just say construction storage is a contractor's yard. So it's not a permitted use in the zone. They wouldn't be able to store anything on site.
All good? Okay. I'm looking to council then. We've read it already. Okay, what is your wish? Go ahead, Councillor Arts,
No.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there's still confusion. I want to make a motion that the barn be removed as a condition. So you can tell me when I do that. When can I do that? Okay? Is it
No,
right now?
no.
I
Yep.
would make that. I would make that motion.
Okay, everyone heard that. So I'll call the vote. Oh, no, we need a mover. We have a mover. Could I have a seconder to have the vote? Okay, I'll move it then. Let's call a vote on it then. Those people who are in favor of the motion as presented by Councillor Burrs. When we have 1 and we have 2. And those who are opposed? And no one is abstaining, and then we can go ahead with that's carried, or it's declined.
Right.
Declined.
It did not carry.
Yes, it is not. No. I'm not going there, that's why it's
Someone
recorded.
can-
What? Go ahead.
So I'll make a motion then that we add a condition that says that no commercial use or activities in the
Okay,
garage.
all right.
Yeah.
Do I have a seconder for that?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
We
sorry.
can- We can reread the formulated motion.
Yeah, through the chair, I just wanted to point out that the original motion that was provided by staff does reference the existing accessory structure for that commercial activity. So if council wishes, they could just make it more broad that no commercial activities occur on site, or they can continue with the original motion or the original recommended potential condition that was that the municipality conduct an inspection on the property to confirm that no commercial uses or storage is occurring on site, and that the existing accessory structure is suitable as a residential accessory use to the satisfaction of the municipality prior to the creation of a lot. So it encapsulates both those things. Someone would
Yep.
need to make
We
the
need to
motion
make
to add
this
that as a
motion.
condition.
Okay. So can I have a mover to support yes, that. I have a mover, Councillor Cates, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brennan. And I'll call a vote on that. All in favor? And who's opposed? And none opposed. Thank you, Dan. All right.
So now we need to move to the approval of the applications. So we still have to approve the initial recommendation one being consent
Okay.
with the approval of the consent. Subject to the 16 conditions already noted in the planner's report. That would be the first,
Okay, so
plus the added one.
okay, so I don't want to read all of this again.
Okay, no, certainly.
No, I mean, we have it in front of us, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I will ask that for a mover for the motion as was read earlier and is in front of us in our documents.
And with the added condition that
Right.
was just approved by members.
Okay, so now it's a broader to include. Could I have a mover, please, and a seconder? Deputy Mayor Brennan, Councillor Cates, I'll call the vote. All in favor of that? And that is carried. All right.
And now we can proceed to the zoning bylaw amendment portion.
Okay, so that's the zoning bylaw amendment is the second piece. I guess I should read that one too. We
Yes.
haven't done that one yet. So it's the zoning bylaw amendment application ZBA 5, 2026, filed by Michelle Dornbush to rezone portions of subject land from the existing use zone to the community residential density zone and the site-specific existing zone for the land legally described as Plan 305, Lot 3, Part Lot 2, South Harris Road, Parts 1 and 3 on the reference plan as listed here, and Part 4 on the reference plan also described here, and known as 96 Harris Road, Municipality of Middlesex Center in the former Township of Delaware, be approved, and that the holding symbol H4 be applied to the land zoned community residential density for those lands located on the retained parcel from the consent application B16 2025 to require development agreement to be entered into with the corporation and registered on title to the lands. And further, that the implementing bylaw be forwarded to the council for consideration once a deposited reference plan has been provided to the satisfaction of the municipality. This is moved by Councillor Arts, thank you, and Councillor Burrs, all in favor? And none opposed. Okay, thank you for your patience and your help, and we can now rise from public meetings. The recommendation before us is that the public meetings adjourn at 6:43 p.m. and council resume the regular meeting. And that is moved by Councillor Coles and Councillor Cates, thank you, all in favor? And that is carried as well. Okay, we have a consent agenda with 5 items listed on it this evening. Consented items are received in one motion, but councillors may request that one or more item is removed for further action. And I see Deputy Mayor Brennan, your hand, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to pull 9.3,
Okay,
the staffing alignment. One.
all right. Is there anything else we should pull? Somebody else would want to have a discussion about any other item? Okay, so the only one is 9.3. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The only concern I have with this is the HR position, which was originally scheduled to be a part-time position through 2026, and now it's being recommended by the consultant to go to be a full-time one. In my mind, I would like to see us maybe go part-time till the end of this year, see if that satisfies our needs before we jump all the way to a full-time position. I think if we the original thought was for part-time, then I would like to see us try that, see how it works out till the end of this year. If it doesn't work out, then in the budget this coming fall, we can, put in for a full-time person at that time. That's my only concern on that one.
Okay, I'll look to Tiffany then. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. So through you, Mayor DeBee. So to clarify, the consulting report did not speak specifically to a full-time position versus a part-time position. It did speak to more full-time equivalent positions within the corporate services and office of the CAO overall. So that's where the report is outlining the suggested positions, but that wasn't specific. So I did want to just clarify that. So the consultant wasn't specific on that aspect. And we are looking at the full-time position versus the part-time position. And the majority of that is to do with even just the response aspect with having a full-time position assisting with all the health and safety and HR administration aspects that would assist our HR manager at this time. Some notes I've received just with respect from HR is the questions are more, she understands the questions with respect to the full-time versus the part-time. They are looking at the full-time, so we would have more continuity, ownership, and expertise that's expected with this position and scope of the responsibility overall with respect to the health and safety and any other HR administrative tasks.
Okay. Any further questions on that? Yep. Okay, go ahead. Oops. Go ahead, Wayne.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
I agree with Deputy Mayor Brennan jumping into this with a full-time position. I don't think we're set at 220 employees roughly. The previous workplace I came from ran over 500 employees with one manager of health and safety. Wasn't director, was manager at that time, they called them. And the same thing, subcommittees and committees after that. I just think we're kind of jumping in this a little hard to begin with. Like I'd support a part-time position, see how it plays out. But when we have one person dealing with over 500 employees and 10 times the amount of equipment at Kellogg's there is here, I just have a problem supporting a full-time person at this point in time.
Do you want to respond? No. Okay, any other comments? All right, so do we need to amend the motion? Yeah. I'll just clarify that when I said we need to amend it is that we pass these all as one. We've pulled one item out. We should vote on the two pieces separately. We can't just vote on the consent agenda because we have a separate vote. Okay, so what do we? Okay.
Okay, so seeing that this item has been pulled for separate consideration, the amended motion would be that consent items 9.1 and 9.2, 9.4 and 9.5 on the March 25, 2026 agenda be adopted as recommended. And then we can proceed to discussion on the staffing report.
Okay, so call the vote. All in favor of the consent agenda as amended? And that is carried. Unanimously again. So that is carried, and we can now look to item.
Apologize, I didn't catch the mover and seconder.
Oh, sorry, I just called it. That was my bad. Councillor Case, Councillor Coles, thank you. Okay. And I think everyone still votes the same way. We're all in agreement.
Right, thank you.
Okay,
Chair.
so now we're going to look at the item that was pulled, 9.3 individually. Forwarding, should I just say that it was us? Oh, maybe look at the direction from council. Yeah. So does you or Wayne want to suggest how you want to word that, a direction for council to follow? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I would recommend the staffing alignment subject to pulling the health and safety and human resources coordinator from a full-time position back to a part-time position and approve everything else. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
So you also alluded to the fact that we would try it. So if we stepped into this as a part-time position, how long before we decide? Is it
This year.
till the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted clarification. Thank you.
Questions, I have one actually. Who's going to do the part-time position?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or do we have a person, or how will we meet that need is, I guess, my question.
Okay, so through your mayor to beat, it would be a regular recruitment process for the municipality. We would post the position of the health and safety and HR coordinator position as part-time. And then it would depend on the candidates that we receive. We would still require the same amount of education, the same amount of training, the same amount of designations. And it may be a scheduled position. So one of the risks with this is, with anything with health and safety, is making sure that they are on site with the teams and all the different departments. And that might require just different scheduled shifts as
Okay.
well.
Okay, thank you. So we have the motion before us as,
So
you want to read it the proper, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll get the.
Oh, do I have any question?
Yep.
Okay, so Councillor Hughes, do you have a question? IQ? Again,
Oh, didn't like.
there you go. You're on. Go ahead.
Through your Madam Mayor, I guess this is a question to Tiffany. If we hired somebody part-time and then we decide it is a full-time job, can we hire that person, or do you have to legally do a recruitment, or what would the protocol be?
So through Mayor DeVete, so that's a great question. I don't know off the top for sure, because sometimes when people do apply for a part-time position, that is what they are looking for. So they might be looking for less hours in the week in order for different balances within their own lives. They might have another job already. And so that would be something that we'd have to look at with this specific candidate, should it move to a full-time position. So it might be a new recruitment at that time. But we would have to, look into that a little bit further.
Councillor Cates?
Thank you through you, Madam Mayor. I have kind of the same question, but opposite. Would the recruiting of a new candidate be affected by it being part-time versus full-time?
Yep. So through your Mayor DeVete, it could. But a part-time position may appeal to some candidates more. But a full-time position, I would say historically, we've seen the data on that, because if somebody was to leave a position, it would most likely, if they were looking for those full-time hours, given the nature of the position, so it is like the educational requirements, the training requirements, and the designations, it would typically be more of a full-time position. However, there could be candidates out there that are doing this type of work part-time.
So Councillor Arts, you're okay, and no one else down there? Okay. So if all the questions have been answered, I think the clerk has formulated a motion. No, it doesn't go?
Yep. Right. Thank you, Chair. So I believe Deputy Mayor Brennan, this was the motion that you were putting forward, was that report CPS 21, 2026, restaffing 2026 alignment to organizational review be received. And further, that council approves the staffing changes as amended in the report, including the addition of one part-time position within the office of the CAO and one full-time position in the finance department by 2027, and the restructuring of the environmental services team in 2026. Finance. Oh, finance is fine. Okay. The core. Okay. Okay, 20. Okay. So that would be the addition of one part-time position within the office of the CAO and one full-time position in the finance department by 2026.
Great.
So we do have Deputy Mayor Brennan as the mover. We'd be looking for a seconder.
Okay, I have Councillor Burrs. And I'll call the vote then. All in favor of the motion is read. And that is carried. Okay, thank you again. All right, now we can move on to staff reports. The first item up is application for major revision of draft plan subdivision, which is filed by WSP on behalf of Southwinds Development Company, and Tim Williams, our planner at the far end there, is in attendance to provide a planning report when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I know you said my name, Tim Williams, but I don't get a chance to speak in front of council very often. So I'll just say I am, as I said, Tim Williams, a planner with the County of Middlesex, and I provide planning services to local municipalities such as Middlesex Center. And so thank you very much for the opportunity to present this red line revision to you this evening. As noted, a red line revision, this is to a plan of subdivision. The plan of subdivision in this case is in Kilworth on the south side of Glendon Drive, just north of the Thames River. It's a plan of subdivision that has two phases already registered, one fully built out, and the second phase is in the process of being built out. The applicants and owners are looking to amend phases 3 and some of the other phases by merging phase 3 and 5 together to make a larger phase. This results in additional number of units being proposed within the phase, but generally in line with what was always proposed in this area in terms of lower density, medium density type dwelling units. In this particular phase would be primarily townhouses. This is an application only for red line revision. There isn't also a zoning bylaw amendment. So that's telling you that this is in line with what council has seen in the past. But what is being done is a realignment of the roads. And as you can see on the location map, you'll see that what was a crescent is now a road network that is more optimal. It's creating a connection at the deepest end of what was the crescent. And that is something from a transportation perspective that's more appropriate. And then also there were changes to the servicing for the subdivision, which again is going to be more optimal for Middlesex Center as this development becomes a assumed subdivision, and it needs to be maintained by Middlesex Center. So the purpose is to make those adjustments to those middle phases. There may be an additional red line revision in the future, but for right now, this allows the applicants to move forward with the phase 3 and phase 4. As I say, phase 5 is now a part of phase 3, so there will be a final phase, was 6, and now will be 5, that would move forward in the future. Planning staff are supportive of this application at this time. With the current red line revision, and included in the staff report was revised draft plan conditions that match up with this current red line revision. I just lastly say that following what direction you provide this evening, this is an application that will be heard by the county council for a final decision. And that's the extent of my submissions tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and thank you very much for your time.
And thank you, Tim. I'll look to council then. Questions on, well, all of the documents in front of you. I'll start with you, Deputy Mayor Brennan.
A lot of changes, a lot of, going on with this. Would it be more appropriate to have a subdivision agreement on these 3 phases to get it all put together at once rather than keep doing all these red lines? Just a question.
I'll speak to it in sort of 2 different ways. One, this is an application that was designed with blocks in the later phases. And so for this to move forward from a lot and plan basis, this is the natural progression of the application. With regards to the plan of subdivisions agreement, there's a lot of different ways you could answer that question. I will say that each one of these phases does receive its own subdivision agreement that isn't starting from scratch. It recognizes those previous phases, but it is a new subdivision agreement for each of the phases.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Cates.
Thank you. I just have one question. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Rob. Just in reading the WSP attachment dated March 17th this year about the functional engineering review. So when it goes on about the sanitary and water and stormwater, you know, in light of other situations, I think that it's a question that we should ask, that is the what we currently have designed and in use, et cetera, is it sufficient for additional growth?
Through the mayor, Councillor Gates. Yes. So in short, yes. So, right, they're going to be tying it into only a portion of the servicing that's already in the ground. It won't have any impact on kind of what's to the east. Their population numbers based on this layout are slightly less than what the original design was based on. So that, you know, the demand for water and sanitary will be slightly less. So yeah, there's no concerns in that. And some modifications were made so that they were kind of holding true to the original proposal that was put forth, or original design that was put forth by LDS Engineering. So
thank you.
And Councillor Coles.
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you. So Councillor Kate stole my question there. So I was concerned about any adverse implications for water or wastewater. That was my key question. But then I was also going to ask you, Tim, just about the changes. Is the application kind of arising from market demand for smaller homes, or why is the change being made?
You know, I can't speak for the developer's full mindset. However, you are correct. There is a change in the way the market is heading, and townhouses have become more popular, and something that staff was looking to have this overall subdivision look to get some additional density. Look, the first phase of this development has lots that are in and around 60 foot frontages. They're fairly significant sized lots. And so showing or having a subdivision with multiple types of dwellings is going to make this subdivision a more complete community. And so we were supportive of them looking at this sort of different style for this particular phase.
Great, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay, I don't see any more hands. There is a motion before us. The recommendation is that report PLA 09/2026 regarding the application for major revision of draft plan of subdivision filed by WSP on behalf of South Winds Development Company, Inc. be received. And further, that the County of Middlesex be advised that Middlesex Centre recommends the changes to the draft plan approval for the land known legally as Part Lots 7 and 8, Concession 1, Part Lot 7, BF Concession, former Township of Lovo in Middlesex Centre, and it's subject to the draft plan conditions appended to the Middlesex Centre Report PLA 9/2026, and subject to a 3-year lapse period. If I could have a mover, please, and a seconder, Councillor Cates and Councillor Coles. Thank you. All in favor? That's everybody. Thank you very much. And the next item, oh, and thank you for answering all the questions and keeping us on track here, gentlemen. Now, the item in front of us now has to do with the Conservation Authorities of Ontario. And Stephanie Bergman, our Manager of Planning and Development, is in attendance to provide an overview of that report. So when you're ready, Stephanie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to the rest of council. I'm just here today to provide I just have a short staff report here just to provide you with an update on a past report based on the announcement from the province that was announced on March 10th of this year, so fairly recently. As you know, I think most of you now that the province is moving forward with the changes being proposed to the Conservation Authorities Act and the Conservation Authorities really network and system in here on Ontario, and consolidating the existing 36 conservation authorities into 7. So that was, they did end up creating an additional in the Lake Erie area. So that was increased from 1 to 2 regional conservation authorities, just from the original proposal. I do have some maps and some information that's attached to my report as well. And we're currently unique in that we do have 5 conservation authorities within our area. We're going to continue to be unique in the province, where we are going to be within the jurisdiction of 3 of the regional conservation authorities. That's the Western Lake Erie region, Eastern Lake Erie, and then the Lake Huron Regional Conservation Authority. So just really quickly, there are some really key differences that we're going to see moving forward. So basically, as a lower tier municipality within Middlesex County, we as a lower tier will not be, we will no longer be a participating municipality. So the representation for these regional conservation authority boards will now come from the upper tier governments. So local Middlesex Centre Council members will no longer be appointed to these boards. It will be based on representation on the boards will be based on the municipality's percentage of population. And then there are some things that are being put in place to ensure the representation from the smaller municipalities. So if they represent less than the percentage, less than a percentage of the population, they will still be able to have representation, at least one representative. So a couple things. Another thing that was modified as part of the updated proposal is the establishment of watershed councils. And so these watershed councils are intended to be established to ensure that kind of local, the local knowledge, the local priorities, programs, and services will be considered. I will say there's still a lot of questions about what these watershed councils mean, and if the province is going to kind of regulate and mandate how many can be had in a regional conservation authority. So there are still a lot of questions, but again, that was something that was introduced into the revised plan. So overall, the transition, they are intending to move fairly quickly on this. So transition work is supposed to be happening through 2026. And amalgamations via legislation should be occurring, or we've been told will be occurring in early 2027. So through the Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency, so that's the OPCA, that is the new agency that the province has developed. They are the ones that are going to be leading these transitions. They're going to be establishing transition committees for each of the new regional conservation authorities. And the way those transition committees are going to work is that each local conservation authority will appoint 1 municipally appointed member and then 1 staff member. So for example, a CAO. To that transition committee. And again, the OPCA will be taking a very active role in that. It appears they will be taking a very active role in these transition works. The province has established a $3 million fund for that agency to help with those transition works. And they've also intend to appoint, so the province intends to appoint a project executive that's going to chair that transition committee. And then they would end up actually being the first chief administrative officer for these new regional conservation authorities for up to a period of 24 months after the amalgamation happens. So just in terms of next steps, again, there are still a lot of questions about how this is going to function, and they will be releasing the formal legislation, the amendments to the Conservation Authorities Act to provide a bit more detail on the process. But again, that's just a bit of a summary. So just as we will no longer be appointing members to these boards, funding also will be coming not from the lower tiers, but from the upper tiers. So I think there's going to be a lot of questions about how that is operationalized between the county and us. My report does, just for your information, does contain the financial contributions that the municipality has made over the past several years for information. But again, quite a few more questions still remain, but the province is moving forward with those changes. So more to come. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Thank you for that report. And just before we take questions, so yesterday was county council, and this was an agenda item, and there was a report. So I'll refer everyone to the report because it's actually quite interesting reading. But one of the table that's really most interesting, I think that everyone would probably like to look at, is a summary of the Conservation Authority expense by municipality. So each of the constituent municipalities of the county. When you look at our numbers, I mean, we're over $500,000 a year to conservation authorities. And when you add it all up across the board, I think your chart shows the 1.7, right? So county staff did a calculation, but if the check will be written by the county, then the amount that they expect for the context, they say that we're doubling the size of the largest levy increase for, like, we took the levy increase for previous years, and they're saying now that if you look at the levy increase at the county for 2026, the total was $2.3 million. And the total here for the CAs is 1.7. So if our rates increased in 2026, then this is almost, well, it's getting very close to the same large number as was spent in total, not just one budget line item for conservation authorities. So I have a feeling we're going to be paying a lot more. Yeah. And I frankly, I mean, I don't want to get into all of it now either, but I mean, we pay to 5 now, but we'll be paying to 3 bodies with 3 boards. Yeah.
The boards will have provincial appointees that will do.
Oh, yeah. And our representation, this isn't, yeah, words fail. That's all I can say right now. I can't even stay calm about it when I think about it right now. So, but I think that we have to think about what it means for us and how we're going to pay for it and what level of service we'll get. And I don't know, how is it going to work? Because there's a lot of complexity to figure out here. So having said that, I saw a hand. Yes, go ahead, Councillor Cates.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. I had a comment on what you just said, and now I forgot it. 2 things, Stephanie, to what you said. So you say none of us lower tier will be on a board because each one of us is on a board, but it says they'll appoint 1 municipally appointed member. So that would be like somebody from the county then.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wondered about was it'll be interesting to see in the whole transition and shuffle what'll happen to things like our Coldstream and Strathroy, was it Head Street or whatever, the dam stuff that they want to do. How does that all shake out? So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Burrs.
Well, we talked about this. We had a meeting at Kettle Creek, so one of the fears is, what about the lands that you have that they very well might be pulled back and sold out by the bigger entities? What about the funds we have for certain things? There'll be probably budget restrictions. They say there'll be no staff findings, but they're already putting that in revised contract severances in places, and the bigger conservation authorities, I think, will dominate the smaller ones like the one I'm on. Anyway, keep that on the down.
Okay, Councillor Arts.
Through you, Madam Mayor. All the reports I've been reading up until this last one said that there was only 1 municipality with 5 conservation boards. And now all of a sudden there's 2. So when you're talking to the government, can you please ask them who the second one, where they came from? That's that part of it. The rest of it, this thing is going to cost us big time. It's not going to be more. The current boards could use some tweaking. I gather that. And if they need a online presence, we've got Cloud Permit that can do that. But the board in Toronto is going to be appointed by the ruling government. The regional ones are going to be controlled by the provincial government. And the regional ones are redundant because you still need all the small conservation authority offices to run all the conservations and parks. So you haven't, theoretically, you can't get rid of anybody, and you've added another layer of management. And they haven't given us any governance models. Like, I'd like to know what these 9 regional conservation authorities, you got wages, you got staff, what, 1 million, 2, 3 million, once you, I don't get it. Like, I tried to read this thing upside down to see if it made more sense, and it didn't do that either. So
Jeez,
it's just
political.
it's it's not going to be more efficient, and it's going to be more cost effective, and it's not going to the rural areas that have all these conservation and parks. I don't know what's going to happen to us. And we already have, I'm pretty for sure that recent donations to conservation boards, when it's been land, it's legally written up, it will not be transferred. There's quite a bit of that in the they're going, we're not, yeah, they're not taking it away or whatever. So that's going to be a whole can of worms too. Sorry for venting. Thank you.
No, that's okay. Change is hard and we're going to have a lot of it. So I think it's just normal to have questions and concerns about where we're going to end up. It doesn't seem to make sense now. And all I can do is hope that it does in a while. So anyway, thank you for that report, Stephanie. That's very worthwhile. We don't have any notices of motion requiring, oh, sorry, I forgot to, the report and the recommendation. The recommendation before us is the report Public Works and Engineering 18/2026 regarding the consolidation of conservation authorities of Ontario. We received for information. I have Councillor Coles and Councillor, thank you. I was looking at Hewart. Okay. Yeah, Shipley. I was just laughing. Okay, so I'll call the vote. All in favor? And that's, yeah, I think Frank needs to. Okay, so sorry about that, Wayne. Okay, and we have correspondence. We have 12.1. That was Middlesex County highlights, and I'll look to the deputy mayor. Do you want to add anything, Deputy Mayor Brennan?
Yeah, that report was from a couple of council meetings ago. We had another council meeting yesterday. That was from March the 10th, I believe, those ones. And then we had another council meeting
Yesterday. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead with those.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
wish.
Yes, please.
Okay, the Medical Priority Dispatch System, MPDS, is coming into effect in October of this year. And the purpose of it is to improve ambulance resources, prioritize and deploy dispatch more on medical urgency rather than ambulance availability, which means that if they get a call for a code 4, like a heart attack victim, and they, instead of waiting to have the first available ambulance respond to that, they're now going to be able to redirect an ambulance going to a lesser call to that more important call. So it should stabilize getting ambulances to the most serious calls quicker. So that's basically what that's going to be all about. Strathmere Lodge Quality Improvement Plan is hoping to provide less hospital visits, minimize pressure injuries, which is bed sores. And so they're doing this, and there'll be more priority put on each patient to make sure they're getting turned in their bed if that's what we're required, or more assistance for the patient. So this is something that Strathmere Lodge has to comply with, and as of right now, they are up to date. We had a report from a SWIFT program update. They have completed virtually what they were originally asked to do in the county, and the county will be making decisions what to do there further. OPP detachment board report came from our district commander, Barnaby. He zoomed in and give us a report on what's been happening in the county. Middlesex County dispatch system was talked about, 20,418 911 calls in 2025. 4,067 of those were fire calls. They're upgrading their equipment for the next generation NG 911, which is coming into effect in September 2026. We had a draft forest management plan for 2026 to 2056, which includes ecological integrity and biosecurity, conservation, sustainable timber management, and climate resistant forest health. Middlesex County economic development updates were received. Middlesex and employment lands readiness program. Township of Adelaide Metcalf is looking at developing along 81 Highway. They applied for a loan of $200,000 from the county to help get that program underway. We received a report on Middlesex County Employment and Family Assistance Program and the upgrades to the Middlesex County MLPS Waterloo Station Phase 3 are taking place now. Next meetings for the county are April 14th and 28th.
Thank you for that report, Deputy. Are there any questions on that? Okay, seeing none, so we have to receive the correspondence. Yeah, correspondence items, which I skipped over, right? It's the highlights. Oh, it's highlights, right? Okay. Okay, so the motion before us is recommendation that the correspondence items 12.1 be received for information. That was the council highlights from the previous week, previous weeks ago, sorry. Councillor Cates and Councillor Coles, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. I'll get you next, Councillor Shipley. Okay. So is there any other business that councillors want to bring up or things they want to mention? Okay, no one has anything. We need to go into a closed session now. The motion before us is that the recommendation before us is that council for the municipality of Middlesex Centre recess to closed session. And we're going to be going to the Delaware Township Room at 7:21 pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss the following matters. There are 3 items pursuant to section 239(2)(f) regarding advice subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And they cover off South Winds development matter, Arbus servicing, Ward 4 property matter. And we have 1 item pursuant to 239(2)(c) regarding a proposed or pending acquisition of land by the municipality or local board in Ward 1. Do I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Brennan, Councillor Burns. I'll call the vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And we'll reconvene in a few minutes in that boardroom.